full script. Picture this. You're finally cleaning out that old neglected storage shed or a vacation cabin that's been sitting empty for months. You spot a thin layer of dust and a few tiny dark rodent droppings scattered across the wooden shelves. Instead of grabbing a disinfectant or a wet rag, you pick up a dry broom and start sweeping hard. A fine, nearly invisible cloud of dust explodes into the air right in front of your face, and you take a deep, unsuspecting breath of that musty air. Congratulations. You've just invited millions of microscopic copies of the Sin Nombre virus straight into the deepest parts of your lungs. You won't feel anything right away. In fact, for the next 1 to 8 weeks, you'll feel perfectly normal, going about your life like nothing ever happened. But inside your chest, a silent cytokine storm is already gathering strength, quietly waiting for the perfect moment to tear apart your vascular walls and turn your lungs into a biological fish tank filled with your own leaked, protein-rich plasma. Oh, hey there. I'm the one who's going to dissect exactly how your own body is currently working to betray you. You probably thought that inhaling that dust was just going to give you a nasty case of the flu, right? Those initial aches and the rising fever feel so familiar after all. But before we watch your system spiral out of control, let's clear up a common myth right away. Despite what you might have heard in some dark corner of the internet, Hantavirus is not some kind of flesh-eating monster that devours you from the inside out. It's actually far more insidious than that. This virus is non-cytopathogenic, meaning it doesn't kill your cells directly. Instead, it plays a high-stakes game of molecular deception. It slips into your endothelial cells, the delicate lining of your blood vessels, and tricks your own hyper-vigilant immune system into doing the dirty work for it. While you're still worrying about a simple cough, your body is already triggering a catastrophic cytokine storm. That storm quietly dismantles the very barriers keeping your blood inside its vessels. It turns your sturdy circulatory system into a bunch of leaky sieves, letting protein-rich plasma drain out into places it was never meant to go. You aren't being eaten alive. You're being structurally decommissioned by your own defenses. So, what exactly is happening during this molecular siege? Instead of destroying your tissues directly, the virus quietly slips into your endothelial cells, that thin, critical lining that keeps your blood inside your vessels. Once it's settled in, your immune system doesn't just respond, it completely panics. It triggers a catastrophic cytokine storm. Your white blood cells flood into your pulmonary tissues, releasing a dangerous cocktail of inflammatory mediators, like tumor necrosis, factor alpha, and interleukin-6. These chemicals effectively dismantle your vascular integrity. Suddenly, your blood vessels are no longer sealed pipes. They've turned into leaky sieves. Under the cold, unfeeling laws of physics, protein-rich plasma begins to hemorrhage straight into your alveoli, the tiny terminal air sacs of your lungs. Your lungs, an architecture built specifically to hold air, are now being repurposed as a biological storage tank for your own leaked fluids. This is the beginning of non-cardiogenic pulmonary edema. The very protein and liquid that are supposed to keep you alive are now the things sealing your fate as you slowly drown from within. Let's walk through your decline, day by grueling day. For the first 5 days, the virus plays a deceptive game of hide and seek. It masquerades as a nasty case of the flu. You get slammed with a high fever, often spiking well above 101 degrees Fahrenheit, along with crushing fatigue. But the myalgia is what really breaks you, that deep, visceral soreness in your biggest muscle groups, your thighs, hips, and back. Every single movement feels like you're dragging a heavy, invisible weight through chest-deep water. You might spend those first few nights curled up on the bathroom floor, battling sharp abdominal pain, nausea, and diarrhea, convinced you're just dealing with a bad bout of food poisoning. Then around day 6, the mask slips and everything falls apart. It starts with a dry, non-productive cough, the medical version of a death knell. That's when the fluid shift begins. Suddenly, you're gripped by a terrifying physiological panic called air hunger. Your heart rate shoots into tachycardia as it desperately tries to pump oxygen that isn't there. Your breathing turns shallow and frantic tachypnea. It feels like a cold steel strap is ratcheting tighter and tighter around your chest with every passing minute. Each breath becomes more labored and less satisfying than the last. In your final 24 hours, the dry drowning enters its terminal phase. You look in the mirror and see cyanosis, that haunting bluish discoloration spreading across your lips and fingertips as your body starves for oxygen. Your cough is no longer dry. Now you're hacking up blood-tinged fluid as the microvasculature in your lungs disintegrates under the cytokine storm. As your blood pressure crashes and cerebral hypoxia sets in, your mind starts to flicker and fail. You slip into agitated delirium, haunted by terrifying hallucinations and a profound, inexplicable sense of doom. Your brain realizes too late that the entire architecture of your body has completely dissolved. But what does this actually feel like on a psychological level? Beyond all the physical agony, you get hit by one of the most chilling symptoms ever documented. A profound, inexplicable sense of doom. This isn't just a regular panic attack. It's your body's internal chemoreceptors and baroreceptors sending one final, desperate emergency broadcast to your brain as your blood pressure plummets and your oxygen levels crash. You become gripped by a crushing, absolute certainty that your life is ending right here, right now. No hope, no negotiation, just pure, ice-cold knowledge that this is it. If you actually make it to a hospital in time, your final conscious memories are dominated by the overwhelming chaos of the ICU. You'll feel the invasive, suffocating sensation of intubation as a thick plastic tube is forced down your throat to bypass your fluid-filled lungs. And when your heart and lungs finally give out, they hook you up to an ECMO machine. This beast mechanically pumps your blood out of your body, oxygenates it outside, and sends it back in a frantic last-ditch attempt to keep you alive while your entire vascular system is failing. At that point, modern medicine is basically trying to patch a bursting dam with duct tape, desperately buying time for your body to recover. For many people, it's already too late. Now, let's take a step back and look at the cold hard numbers. Hantavirus isn't just some rare medical curiosity. It's a biological coin flip where the house almost always wins. In the United States, Hantavirus Pulmonary Syndrome carries a brutal mortality rate that swings between 38% and 60%. That means for every 2 people who accidentally breathe in the wrong cloud of dust, one of them is probably never going home. This virus doesn't care how young or fit you think you are. During the 1993 Four Corners outbreak that first put it on the map, one of the most chilling cases was a 19-year-old marathon runner in peak physical condition. He went from mild flu-like aches to dead in the emergency room within 24 hours of his lungs collapsing. Most victims die in that same terrifyingly narrow window after admission, often before doctors can even figure out what's killing them. If you don't want to become a statistic, you have to throw out your normal cleaning instincts. If you walk into a shed or cabin and see rodent droppings, never ever reach for a dry broom or vacuum. You're just launching a microscopic cloud of death straight into your lungs. Instead, open all the doors and windows and walk away for at least 30 minutes. When you come back, drown the area first. Mix up a 10% bleach solution, about 1.5 cups of bleach per gallon of water, and soak those droppings completely. Let it sit for 5 full minutes to kill the virus before you touch anything. Skip the bandana or regular dust mask because they're useless here. You need a proper N95 or, for bad infestations, a HEPA respirator plus heavy rubber gloves. In this game, there are no participation trophies, only survivors and people who learned the hard way that nature doesn't negotiate. Hantavirus remains a chilling testament to just how fragile we really are as biological organisms. It only takes one single, unsuspecting breath in the wrong place at the wrong time to trick your own hypervigilant immune system into starting a process of total, irreversible self-destruction. You aren't being devoured by some outside monster. You're being systematically dismantled by the very defenses that were supposed to protect you, as your vascular integrity simply dissolves from within. Hit that subscribe button if you want to see more detailed autopsies on how the human body eventually unravels. And maybe, once the screen goes dark, you should go take a long, hard look under your bed or deep inside your kitchen cabinets for any signs of small, dark intruders. I'll still be right here waiting for the next one, but your life might not be. See ya.